Good morning, everyone. Welcome, COS family. Welcome, everybody that joined us. Thank you for joining us today. This is day 4, our final day for the Multicultural Food Week. Monday, we did curry chicken. Tuesday, we did egg rolls and spring rolls. Yesterday, we did, what's yesterday? Oh, collard greens. How about collard greens? Collard greens and cornbread. And today, we're going to wrap this thing up with Spam Musubi. And we're going to have Kealoha Sakamoto. She's going to be showing us how to make that today. She's been a huge supporter of our multicultural event on campus. Normally, she dances for us. Those of you that have joined us before, she does the pineapple, coconut, fruit smoothie. Well, we're not doing fruit smoothies today. We're doing Spam. So without further ado, introduce Kealoha Sakamoto.
Aloha and welcome to my hale, my home. I'd like to make Spam Musubi today because it's a big thing for college students. And being we're always on the run in Hawaii, we always go to Spam Musubi as our go-to food whenever we're on the run. So Spam Musubi consists of nori, which is seaweed, and a can of Spam. Nothing very hard about it, pretty simple. One of the biggest things that you have to make sure though is that you have good rice, and I don't mean cheap rice. We use Japanese sticky rice or sushi rice. So I use calrose or botan rice. Being Japanese, that's easy for me because I always have that brand, but most of the people would tend to use sushi rice, which is a variety. You can buy any label that you like. Nori, same thing. You don't want to buy a cheap nori because if you buy a cheap seaweed, it's going to rip. If you buy a little bit more expensive, like the middle one, it does pretty good. So you can get this at RNN if you live in Visalia. You can get it at RNN Market. And it's pretty inexpensive. It's like $6 and you get 20 sheets of nori. And of course, a can of Spam on the average is about $4 to $5. Sometimes you get it on sale, you can get it $3.49, or at Costco, you can get it cheaper. The shoyu that I'll be using are the soy sauces. Some people call it. It's Aloha shoyu. You can use Kikkoman. You can use any brand you want. Some soy sauces will deviate as far as being more salty than other. As a whole, soy sauce is very high in sodium. So what we do in this case is we add sugar to it to make the teriyaki sauce, which we'll be making. Another item that we'll be using is furikake. Furikake is just seaweed with a little bit of sesame, and you can get this also at RNN or any of your Asian markets. It's got a little bit of mixture, gives it a little bit more taste. So I use this also in my musubi. You can just use teriyaki sauce and Spam. Some people just want no teriyaki sauce and just Spam. So you can use a variety of seaweed, a variety of soy sauce, a variety of sauce. So I'd like to start off by making our simple teriyaki sauce, which is just the soy sauce. We add a little bit of ginger. We're gonna cut it up real quick. And ginger is a dry root. You know, it's not something that you use every day. Some people, if you're Asian, will use a lot of ginger. Being Asian, I do use a lot of ginger. And the reason why I use a lot of ginger is because it's healthy for you. If you're a cancer patient, ginger will help it so that you're not nauseous. Very good for those who are going through chemo or radiation. It's very good for you. You can take this part and boil it into a tea. Today, we're not going to boil it into a tea. We're just going to make teriyaki sauce. So what I do is I just cut up the ginger into small pieces because we don't really eat it. We leave it as a sauce. So you dice it first. And keep in mind, I'm trying to make it so that you college students will be able to do it quick. I won't do it the way that we would do it ordinarily. And so we're just going to dice it up real quick, a little bit of chunkies. And I'm trying to make it so that it's not too hard for you guys to do it. A lot of people will make it really, really tiny, 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 but I'm not going to make it tiny, tiny, tiny today. I'm just going to make it simple. The whole thing with us, when we're growing up in Hawaii, we try all different types of things. You know, living on the islands is probably the most expensive place to live. And so everything is simplicity. Being in Hawaii, you use a lot of canned foods because when the longshoremen go on strike, that's all they had was corned beef, Vienna sausage, and Spam. The #1 place that sells Spam is Hawaii. So Hawaii has quite a bit of Spam. So just get a little bit of ginger root in your cup and I put it in a measuring cup just so you guys can see. And then you're just gonna add some garlic, which I already pre-cut up. You're gonna add some sugar. And I never measure, so let me just go with a half a cup.
You're the fourth one. No one measures.
I don't know how to cook by measuring. I'm sorry, I'm not a good measure person. My mom only did it by, she always just did it by looking at it.
That's the theme of the week.
We look at everything.
Real cooks don't measure.
So here it is. And another thing is, my mother always put her hand and felt it. It's not me. I actually use a spoon because it's just not me. Some things I do like her and some things I don't. The thing about the teriyaki sauce is you kind of gotta use a lot of sugar to get rid of the salt. So it's quite sweet. And you'll see how much sugar I use. It's quite a bit. Okay. That should be good. There's my dog barking in the background. Can you close that door? Just close the slider. She can stay outside. So there's our teriyaki sauce, so it's ready for us. We're gonna cut up our Spam because our rice is already cooking. And the thing about using rice, the rice cannot be old. The rice has to be fresh. And the reason why the rice has to be fresh is because it has to be hot, very, very hot. When you use hot rice, it's easier for the musubi or even the sushi to be used and molded to the nori. Sometimes what happens is that if you use cold rice, it doesn't work. A lot of times, and I'm gonna rinse my Spam because I don't like the jelly, so I always rinse it off. You wanna make sure that when you do the Spam, that if you're not a jelly person, it comes like in a preservative around it, so you wanna either rinse it off or cook it off. So you're just gonna slice your Spam. Usually Spam, you can get 10 pieces, 8 to 10 pieces. But I'm such a Spam girl, I can do this just by sight. I have a Spam cutter. They're on the market, get it at Amazon. And then you just cut your Spam. I do a big event down south and we made 5,000 musubis.
Oh, wow.
Over 3 days we did 5,000, I think. But it's quite a lot of musubi. So you get to where you just, this is a science, you just do it. So these are your Spams and they'll be ready to fry. And we'll just dip that in the teriyaki sauce. We'll put this up here. Also, just a little bit of info. When you wash your rice, and it's really important that before you cook your rice, that you wash it. And the reason why you wash it is to clean it because there's other things that grow in the rice patty. So you just want to get that all off. You might wash it 3 to 4 times, and it's equal. Japanese rice is equal. If you do 2 cups of rice, you do 2 cups of water. It's always equal. You add just a little tiny bit more. I keep my rice water for a reason. I wash my hair with rice water because of the niacin. It makes your hair grow. Very, very healthy.
That's good to know.
Just little bits of information here and there. Also, I have a musubi maker. You can order these online. They're called musubi makers. And the good thing about the musubi maker is this. In my musubi maker, I can use the whole piece of seaweed. There's a half of one, and it's actually a smaller one, so you have to actually cut the nori in half. Majority of the time, this is quicker. This is how we made so many musubis, was through the musubi maker. There's a store called Daiso in Southern California. Actually, they're spreading out all over. It's like a 99 Japanese market. It's very inexpensive. These are like $2, so very good to have. I love my musubi makers. Okay, so here's our nori. And we're gonna put it on our mat here. Our rice is done, so we're gonna cook our Spam now. So we're gonna come to the stove. And the wind is blowing, so it may not catch, so I'll use the lighter. Okay. We'll put a little bit of oil in the pan. The thing about Spam is it's by preference. You might want your Spam well done. You may want your Spam not as well done, just depends. I'm one of these that likes them a little bit more than less. So what I tend to do is I tend to cook my spam a little bit longer. Let me grab something out of the cabinet. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna put the teriyaki sauce in a bowl. And we're gonna put it next to the stove. And then we're gonna cook our spam. Some of you aren't big cookers, but you should use some kind of oil, whether you use olive oil, Wesson oil. Sometimes if people are allergic to the oil, I'll cook it in water. Water is a very good way to cook it, but make sure that it's very, very hot when you put the water and you cook your spam that way so that the spam does cook. The spam's gonna cook anyway, but this way it does it a little bit better. You dip your spam in the teriyaki sauce like this, and then you just put it in the frying pan. So depending on how many musubis you're gonna make, then of course you're gonna open more cans of spam. I use a bigger pan so that I can cook quicker, do everything faster. Because I cater, it's easier for me. Sometimes we have to make 100 of these, and that's a lot of musubis. Because the average person will eat 1 musubi each. And unless you're a musubi eater, you might eat 3.
So is this like an appetizer or a main course? Or?
Sometimes kids use, college kids just eat this on the go. Because the rice, of course, is good, and then the spam is going to be your meat, and of course, the nori is always healthy. Seaweed is one of the healthiest foods. And at being a hula dancer, for me, it's good. I'm always on the run. My sister's a flight attendant, and she makes them, and then she takes them on her plane, and she going to Hawaii, wherever she happens to fly. She makes spam because they're not always able to stop and eat. Not only that, a lot of the food places were closed in the airports.
Right.
And Hawaii's gonna be barely open, but then I don't know, their count went up, so they're like us,
Right.
open today, closed tomorrow.
Yeah.
So you're gonna cook your spam for a little bit. As it's cooking, you just want to make sure that it's not burning because of the sugar of the teriyaki sauce. It tends to burn, so just a little bit.
Smells good already.
Oh, we were raised on it. We make it 2 different ways. We make it this way and add egg too. But usually I do it this way for the college kids. It's quicker for them. Or anybody on the go, this is quick. As long as you cook your rice ahead of time.
Right. My daughter was particularly interested in this. She wanted to learn how to make this, so she.
Well, this should be good for her then. Another way they can get the teriyaki sauce is they can buy teriyaki sauce too. Arden has teriyaki sauce. Pretty much everybody sells a teriyaki sauce. I just prefer to make mine. It's less stuff inside. I like just the sugar, the ginger, the garlic, and the soy sauce.
Right. Authentic.
Sometimes we put green onions in the teriyaki sauce too. This gives it a little bit more kick.
And so tell us a little bit about your catering service.
So I cater for myself, I cater for the restaurant Aloha. The reason why I cater for Aloha is I try to promote the spirit of Aloha through the city of Visalia and promoting restaurants around us. I do Pokemiro too. They're another restaurant that I do, but we dance for them to help the culture and the spirit of Aloha grow in the Central Valley. Being here in the Central Valley has been an eye-opener because it's like taking the girl out of the ocean and putting her on land. So coming to the Central Valley, it was non-culturated as far as Hawaiian culture. Here in Visalia, there is other hula groups around us, but I was the only one in Visalia and Tulare. So for me, it was really good to have the experience to come and share the spirit of Aloha with everybody by doing hula, the food. I cater a lot of Hawaiian food, which is like the Kealoha pig. I make lomi salmon. I make a dessert called halpia that's very big for a lot of people. They love the coconut pudding cake. I do chicken long rice. I do fried rice. So anything that, very rare do I get a call for lau lau, which is the luau leaf, the taro leaf. And the top of the taro is the leaves that we make the lau lau out of, and the bottom is the poi. We pound the taro leaf to become poi. So we do that one too. But usually what I'll do is, I don't have time to pound taro. I order the poi from Hawaii. And then the lau lau leaf is very hard to get here. We have to order them and they ship them, but they're not always fresh by the time they get here. So usually you have to know somebody if they're coming from Hawaii to bring the leaves, so that's easier for us. But strictly, a lot of Hawaiian food is what I do. Musubi is another one that we do. We do some Korean kimchi, kalbi. What else do we do? Just a variety of Polynesian foods. If you ask me to make it, I'll make it. I'll find out how to make it and make it, but I got to test it out myself first.
Right.
I try to keep everything as traditional as possible, and I respect each culture of how they do things. Henceforth, I would expect them to have respect when we make food the Hawaiian way. But no two people usually cook exactly the same. So everybody will deviate from how they make their own. Oh, this works for me. Okay, that it tastes good. Okay, good for you. Okay,
Right.
let's go. So that's how I cook also. What always works for me may not work for everybody else, but I know that musubi will work for everybody. So there's two ways you can do the nori. You can burn it on the stove, which a lot of people won't. So we're just gonna do it the way that it's easiest for you. So we need some water. So we'll put some warm water in the bowl. And the reason why you need the warm water is so that you can seal the musubi. I tend to add a little bit of soy sauce, just a little bit. I added in my water to give it so that it's not so bland, to give it a little bit of taste. Get my hands in bleach and water. Okay. Being a caterer, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna wear gloves. Just tell you the truth. So you're gonna put the nori in like this, just in this maker like this, and this is an acrylic maker. See, it's the size of the nori. You're gonna put it in this way. Grab my rice real quick. I'm gonna put the rice over here. Okay, so you're gonna get your rice, and like I said, the rice has to be extremely hot. You want to put it inside here, just like this. I'm gonna turn it this way. And you put a layer of rice. And you'll notice that your nori will start shrinking up. That's normal. Okay, so you want to make sure that you have a layer there. And I use a spatula like this so I can spread it out. Normally I would use the spoon, the rice spoon, but it doesn't always work that way. So you put a Spam here, you put 2 pieces of Spam, like this. And then we're gonna add some more rice on the top. And on this top layer, we're gonna add furikake. So we're gonna get some rice and put it in this dish like this. So you have your rice here, and then you just get the furikake. And we're gonna add it inside. Maybe. Maybe we're gonna add it inside. I'm gonna stack it.
There's a question on the chat.
Okay,
Is there a particular kind of rice that you use?
I use Bhutan or Calrose.
Okay.
Japanese sushi rice is good too. So you just put in your furikake. So the furikake looks like this when it comes out. It strips the seaweed with some sesame seed and a little bit of flavoring. All you're gonna do is mix it up like this. And this is gonna add flavor to your rice.
Okay, they might not be able to see that. Let me bring it over to
Oh,
this guy right here.
okay.
And that's RNN, right?
Yes, RNN.
Rice seasoning.
And you call it, its Japanese name is furi, F-U-R-I, furikake.
Okay. I'll have to remember that so I don't sound stupid when I'm asking for it.
It's gonna be by the nori, right by the nori,
Okay.
the seaweed.
Okay.
Okay, so there's your rice now on the top that you've added. So you're just gonna take it like this. You're gonna fold over that nori on top of it like this. Okay. This is the top of the musubi maker. It's a plexiglass. All you're gonna do is, and we're gonna add a little bit of water on the top here to seal it. And we folded it over and stretched it out so it comes out like this. With the rice. And then you just smash it down with this plexiglass thing like this. See, and you can see it. You can see it all the way around. Get up and show you. See, there's the nori, the seaweed, everything's in there already with the rice. Okay, and you just hold it and then you can pull it up. When it comes up, if you have extra nori, you can peel it up just a little bit and pull it over a little bit more. Sometimes it gets squished, so you just pull it up. Oh, it came up this way. Okay, so this part of it, I made mine a little bit longer. So you want to cut it because the nori, the stems in 2 pieces. Like this. And it looks like this inside.
Oh, nice.
I don't know why it's falling apart, but you want to eat it?
Of course.
Okay.
It looks like it's smoking right now, though.
It is. It's really, really hot. So maybe we'll wait just a minute.
Let's bring it a little closer so the folks can get a better look at it. It looks delicious.
I'm gonna try another one. The seaweed isn't very good on this one. Normally it's really stiff. Let me try another one. Let me put oil on this.
Can everyone see that? We have over the rainbow in the background. Nice.
Okay, so one of the big things too, and I forgot to do it, that's probably what happened to the nori. I've got to oil it. If you oil it, it'll just slide out better.
So that might be why the side.
Yeah, the side didn't, I
Right.
forgot about the side. It's been a while since I used the maker.
Now, where do you get those?
You can get them at Daiso in Southern California. You
Okay.
can order them from Amazon. It's called a sushi maker or musubi maker. It just
Okay.
depends who it is. They'll do it. They'll make different kinds.
Is it real hard to make it without it?
Aloha does. Aloha makes theirs without it. They make it in a ball and then they do it that way. But they only put the musubi on one side, the nori.
Uh-huh.
Like their spam is on one side and The other thing is on another, so I'm gonna make another one because it's gonna be quicker. It'll be better.
Right. So the Hawaiian culture, what is that a combination of?
Hawaiian culture?
Mhm.
Well, you have all races in Hawaii.
Right.
I'm particularly myself, I'm Japanese, Chinese, Hawaiian. So I have the Chinese side, the Hawaiian side, and the mixture of all three. But for us, rice is a staple in all of them.
Right.
All three cultures, so it's good. Another thing that it is really strong that we do is the culture is really about respect in all three. Japanese is very, very strict and has their own thing about respect of your elders and just everybody older. That is why in my culture, they make sure that if you're over a certain age, you're called auntie. Same with the Chinese. Chinese the same way. You call them, auntie also. Everybody's their auntie in the Chinese culture, so it's good. But Hawaiians flow right with them, so that's a good thing. And the biggest thing for us growing up was the Japanese culture. My father was really strict, very, very strict Japanese. And he was very strict in the sense that you never questioned anything he said. What he said was law. So that was hard all by itself. The fact that he was so strict. But we turned out all good kids, so that's a good thing.
That's kind of the way I was raised too, so.
Okay, so I'm gonna make this again.
My colleague Debbie Douglas at work, she's like, "Oh, that looks so delicious."
Is the college open?
No, we're closed. We're going to be online in the spring as well.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's hard.
Some students actually like it. I mean, they
But
say.
is the college losing money?
No, not particularly. I mean, we're
That's
still
good.
doing fine.
That's good. Okay. Let's see if this works out better this time. Oh yeah. It did. It did.
This guy, so
Yeah, it came out better. There you go. There's your rice, your Musubi. Just remember when you make it, the more rice you put into it, the bigger it'll be.
right.
The less rice you put into it, the easier it is to eat. So just so that and then you just pack in the ends like this so that it's held. I'm going to show you another way to make it, the way that we make it just ourselves without the maker, and it should be easier for you.
Okay.
So, here. So if you were at home and you were just going to make musubi, there's two ways you can do it. The way that we were raised and the way that some people choose to do it. We put it that way. So you're going to do the same thing. You're going to put rice on it. Okay. Now, when we were raised, we spread it out like this. Just spread it all out. And keep in mind, my mom we only had 5 kids, but we had 10 kids in our house. Because all our cousins lived with us, so we were lucky. We were called Hotel California.
Ah.
Because everybody came to live with us. So the same thing, you just spread it out. You get your 2 pieces of Spam and put it like this. And all you're gonna do is roll it. So you're gonna fold it over like this. Same thing. Okay, then you put it over this way. And with this one, you have to make sure that you put the water, because this one, because it's free flowing, it's a little bit harder. But you can do it the exact same way. This way is faster, just so that all of you know it's faster.
But if you put a lot of rice that way, it makes it a little difficult.
Yes, it's not going to close as well. Right, you're right. So you just, it's the same thing, turn it over, and then you just cut it. And you saw that it's way faster than the musubi maker, but you do the same thing.
Right.
Same exact thing. So you can have either way that you feel you want to do it. I choose not to do it that way because the other way it pressurizes it and smashes the rice and makes it a little bit tighter. But either way, it'll come out the same way. And this one I didn't put furikake inside, I put it just plain. So both will be good, and you can use both things. In our culture, rice is a staple for us, so it's all about respect. You know, you don't want to do, we always say you don't want to waste rice is one thing, so you try to use it. But when it sticks to your hands, well, it's wasting the rice. But we try to always make sure that the rice that we use every day, that we use it all. We don't just use a part of it. No, try to use it all. And even the rice, when it's done, all I do is I take it, I scrape it off the sides of the thing, and I give it to my dogs. So we're not wasting it. So this is one of the big things for musubi. Now, when you, like, we make it into fried rice also. There is a fried rice musubi. If we had more time, I would make the fried rice musubi for you. But it's got eggs, it's got green onions, and it's got Spam in it. Delicious. We make it as a breakfast food. When we were little, my parents used to take us to the movies, back to the drive-in, and my mother would make the musubi, and then we would have kimchi. I could have did a kimchi demonstration. We'd have kimchi, and we'd have daikon, the eggs, and macaroni or potato salad. So that's a really big thing in Hawaii. People get a misconception about Hawaiian salad. Hawaiian salad is made with Best Foods mayonnaise. Everybody only uses Best Food mayonnaise. But the potato mac salad has white roast potatoes and macaroni, so the two. And we do put eggs in it. Some people don't put eggs. I know at the restaurant they don't use eggs. Aloha doesn't use eggs, but it tastes good, very good. Abby knows, she uses it the most. She loves it, she loves salad. So coming to the culture, I'd like to share with you a little bit about the culture. In the Hawaiian culture, we do a lot of things like we respect the Japanese. We take off your shoes before you go in the house. You hug everybody. During this COVID time, it's very difficult for me because hugging is like who I'm known for. I hug everybody and kiss everybody, and you tell everybody aloha. And some of you who don't know what the meaning of aloha, it isn't just a word, it's a way of life. It is who we are. We speak nicely to each other. We share our culture. We open our homes. We always share food. Food is very big. We're foodie people in Hawaiians. If you didn't have a place to eat, like if you don't have Thanksgiving, please come to my home. Contact Brett. He'll give you my number. You're more than welcome to come to my home. I invite anybody. I love a party. I love Thanksgiving. Because of COVID, though, a lot of people won't. But there's a lot of people who are single and don't have no place to go. So call Brett and he can come to my home. That is just who I am. I bring people, I help people. So it's really important to me to always share the spirit of aloha. Aloha means hello, it means goodbye, and that's usually all people know that it means. It means more than that. It means to be kind, it means to share, but most of all, it always means to have respect. You have to have patience and respect for everything and everybody that you speak with. Don't be disrespectful, try to listen to what people say. Try to understand that not everybody understands who you are. And so in our culture, no matter what, especially since being the Japanese, you have to be patient, you have to listen. I am known to listen to a lot of people. I burden a lot of troubles from people, but not because I don't want to, but because I think that it's important that being Hawaiian and having this culture bred into us, that we should share it no matter where we go. In the Hawaiian Islands, we are less than 2% left of Hawaiian people because we are a dying race. That's why it's really important that the Hawaiian culture gets spread no matter where we go. Living in the Central Valley, it's really important to me to share the Hawaiian culture through hula, dance, olelo, our language, just so that it shares who we are. We are just not people where you go and you party at their island and then you come home. Oh, they got beautiful oceans, beautiful scenery, beautiful waterfalls, great fruit, great food, but it's more than that. It is a way of life for the people of Hawaii. So those of you who go to Hawaii that respect our aina, respect our land. Right now we're fighting for the telescope not being built up on Mauna Kea. Mauna Kea is very important to the Hawaiian people because we are the islands. We don't have anywhere to go. If something happens in the islands, like when they have earthquakes, tsunamis, and the lava is flowing freely last year it flowed for so many days, 5 months, I believe it flowed for. There's no place for the people of Hawaii to go. They have to actually flee the island. They have to get off the island by boat. They have to get off the island by plane. But a majority of the time, they actually have nowhere to go. So a lot of people, kokua, they came together and they made their own places. Luckily, there was people to help. Lowe's helped, Pizza Hut, all the restaurants on the Big Island helped, and that's where the lava was flowing freely. But because of that, it really showed me something that was very important. It showed me that people actually care for other people. They're not like here on the mainland where, oh, well, too bad for them, they don't have a house. No, it doesn't work like that for us. For us, it works more than that. It's deeper than that. It's what's bred in my heart. It's always to share. And if you can't share, then who are you? You know, the Lord put us here for a purpose, and He put us here to share and to understand one another and to be kind to one another. And Ellen always says this: if there's anything you don't do in your life, be kind to someone. Be kind to someone. That's very important. So I hope that you've enjoyed my show today with sharing the nori, the funikake, the spam, and the rice. And that way you got musubi. It is who I am. It is who you should share with. And I hope that you could share and be kind to somebody today. I'd like to thank Brett, come on over, from COS, for giving me the opportunity to share the Hawaiian culture and to share musubi with you today. I know that dancing hula is really important to us, but food is even more important because we need it daily. Mahalo, aloha, from me to you, Brett.
Thank you so much. That was brilliant, and that's perfect for the Thanksgiving season. So that's it, folks. That's the wrap up for day 4 for the Multicultural Week. It's been awesome. I'm almost sad that it's over with. I've been raiding people's houses and eating their food, which I can do that full time.
Oh, you might get big.
All right, so thank you, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We'll have all of these videos for the week on our YouTube page, and eventually they'll be posted on the COS page. So from Visalia, California, aloha.
Aloha.
Be blessed. Enjoy your Thanksgiving holiday.
Malama pono. That was good. Yay, that was good. Everything. Man, my hand was burning when I was doing the rest.